Well, we're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to permanently disable Windows Update. We're going to disable some services you don't need and some apps. And again, this is going to be a permanent disable. Now, the very first thing I do when I install Windows is I make sure that Windows Search is disabled. That thing is really terrible. Maybe good for some, for some users, but it certainly isn't for me. So I disable it. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the command to disable the services, and we're going to use the PowerShell to disable the apps. So let's get back in here into my tools folder, and we're going to list out the services that I disable to speed up the system. A lot of these services you don't need. In fact, I don't need any of them. So I disable them and speed up the system. Now you can stop here and take a look at all these services. I'm going to put them in the comments so you can just use them exactly like I'm doing right now. Now, a lot of these services you don't need, and in fact, Windows Update and some of the other services are also in here, but we're going to show you how to do that. So we're going to go in, and we're going to start the Windows terminal. This is Windows 11. They moved it over here, and it's got the Windows PowerShell and the command prompt, and you can change the settings for this, and it is defaulting to PowerShell, but I changed it in the settings to make the command because I use that a lot. So we're going to paste, right-click, paste, and just hit a return for the last one, and that's it. That'll disable all the services that you don't need. So we'll go back in here, and we'll look at the startup type, and you'll see the services are disabled. Of course, some are still running right now, but they won't be when you restart the system. There are some services here that control the Windows Update. Update Orchestra and of course Windows Update. Now those two services, when you do want to go back and check for updates, you'll have to change Windows Update and the Update Orchestra services to manual, and then you can do your Windows Update. But until then, it's going to be permanently disabled. Microsoft's getting better with the updates, but for the last couple of releases, they just keep wanting you to do Windows Update, and once in a while they'll mess up your system, or you'll just be waiting for the updates to complete. So I'd rather just, or a lot of people just do it when you want to do it and when you have the time to do it. But this is going to permanently disable Windows Update. And we're going to do some other things in a little bit, but those two services, and of course the WASP S-Medic was the one that they added that always has to be disabled, and you have to keep an eye on that because Microsoft does sneak some things in there. And this is the Update Orchestra, and you see you can't do updates until you change it back to manual. Okay, so here we go. We're going to come in here, and we're going to go back to the tools folder, and we're going to use the PowerShell to remove some of the applications you don't need, or at least I don't need, and just about everybody doesn't need them. And they're in background. You don't want any updates. You don't want Microsoft to go out there and search for the updates. It just takes a lot of time and resources, and it's just not necessary. Some of these, I don't know, I guess you might want to keep some of these. I don't use Skype. I don't use a bunch of these. Photos, Windows 11 has Photos is a little bit better. They're getting better. I use something else. but I might just go back and reinstall photos to see what they've got. Maybe it's worth keeping. Also, if you don't want these apps to be reinstalled every time you have a new Microsoft release, you can deprovision them in the registry, and they won't show up again on your next update. But this is just as easy to remove them, and you might want one, so you can just reinstall it. So here we go, into the PowerShell, and it's of course I had removed some of these earlier, and it's complaining, but all those apps will be removed, and if you copy and paste exactly like I have them, you might be selective and go out there and maybe change that. So we've done that. There are some other things that you need to do for Windows Update. We keep an eye on it. But we're going to go back and go into regedit, and you have to keep an eye on this WASP-medic. They keep coming up with little things to get this thing going again, and what it is, there it is. Just go into the services, find WASP-medic. Keep an eye on this every so often, and make sure that it's set to 4 disabled over here, because again Microsoft comes back and they do these little magic little things in the operating system, and they change it regardless of what you do. So just keep an eye on that. It has worked just with the changes that I've done with Windows 10, but again, keep an eye on it once in a while, and come back and do that. Now we're going to do some other things here. In Windows, there's a folder called WASP, and in there are the services and tasks for the WASP-medic. So we come in here, we'll change the properties, and we'll take ownership of this folder. So we're going to go in here into Advanced, and you'll see it's Trusted Installer. Change that to Administrators, and check names. Well, oops, misspelled it. Okay, well, that was quick. Just fix it. Check names again, and there you go. Okay, apply, and of course it's going to complain, but that's okay. So we'll come back, and now we change the privileges for administrators to make it full. Apply, of course, complain about the other folders that are in there. That's fine. Go in here, and here are the services and the tasks that it has that it can run. Of course, we've disabled it, but we're going to even make it a little bit better. We're just going to change this to org, and the other folder to org also, and just create 2 new folders that have nothing in them. And if it tries to do anything, then it'll come back and do nothing. So create the task folder, create the services folder, and you're off until the next release, and you have to come back and redo this. But for right now, we're all set. No more Windows updates. Again, you'll need to change the Windows Update and Update Orchestra to manual, and then you can do your updates. This has nothing to do with that. So we'll clean that up. And after, oh, those must have been from that update. Okay, so we're done with that. Now we come back, and after you do all this stuff, still there's one more thing you need to do. You have to come in here to the tasks, and this one's already running, so we don't want it to restart again on a timed interval. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to change that to disabled, or better, just delete it. Okay, and it won't come back. So anyway, that's a permanent change. So the last thing you do, or at least I do, is I make my own copies of the disk as my own recovery mechanism. So, and I'm sure a lot of people do, but I use a Cronus True Image, and in the past I've used Ghost, Semantic Ghost, and came later, but that's going to give us a lot more space. There's 140 some right now, and we're going to clean that up. And let's come back, okay, and we're going to just go ahead and clean that. Now notice that previously I did the clean, the little bottom, you know, tab to clean the system files. Now here it is. It's telling you you can't recover the system anymore. Well, that's okay. At least for me it is. And it don't do the removal if you don't have a backup of the system. Again, I use Cronus, True Image, and I make my own copies of this. So, and that's my backup. And there you go. See, we just removed 20-some gigabytes, and more space, and less stuff for Norton. And there you go. And that's all you need to do.